Good afternoon. Welcome all of you once again to this weekly press briefing on Thursday that we normally have or try to have. I have a few announcements like last time. I will go through them. And then we will have one question each from those of you who want to ask questions. My first announcement is about opening of the third batch of new post office passport Seva Kendras. As you are aware, the Ministry of External Affairs and the Department of Post have decided to utilize the head post office in various states as post office passport Seva Kendras for delivering passport-related services to the citizens of the country. The objective of this partnership is to extend passport-related services on a larger scale and to ensure wider area coverage. You would also know that the first two such POPSKs or Post Office Passport Seva Kendras were announced in earlier on in Mysore and in Dahod in Gujarat. And later on, a decision was announced in February to open 64 additional POPSKs. They are to be located in 10 Indian states. I am not going into the detail of the names. You will find them in the press release that we will shortly put out. Following the successful functioning of these 12 POPSKs, the 10 in the states and the 2 that I mentioned earlier in Mysore and Gujarat, following the successful functioning of these 12 POPSKs, the Ministry of External Affairs and the Department of Post have now decided to open another 19 POPSKs in various other states. One of them will be in Goa, 3 in Punjab, 3 in Uttarakhand, and 12 in Uttar Pradesh. Again, the list of these places you will find in the press release. The Ministry of External Affairs and Department of Post are working closely for the early commencement of passport-related services at the remaining 73 POPSKs. So we have so far, in other words, announced 2 earlier, and then 64, and then 19. It's a total of 85, out of which 12 are functional and 73 will be made functional. The Deputy Foreign Minister of the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, His Excellency Mr. Hikmat Karzai, on a visit to India for attending the International Counter-Terrorism Conference, called on the Minister of State, Shri M.J. Akbar, and met Foreign Secretary Dr. Jaishankar and Secretary Economic Relations, Shri Amar Sinha. Both sides exchanged views on the situation in Afghanistan and reviewed progress in implementation of the development cooperation projects and the decisions taken during the visits of President of Afghanistan to India last year. The Afghan Deputy Foreign Minister apprised the Indian side of the current security situation and the efforts being made by the government of Afghanistan towards peace and reconciliation in their country. The Indian side reiterated its commitment to continue to support the government and the people of Afghanistan in their efforts to build a peaceful, stable, prosperous, and united country within which the democratic and pluralistic aspirations of the people of Afghanistan are met. My last announcement. The Senior Mission Leaders course is to be organized by the United Nations Department of Peacekeeping Operations in cooperation with the Government of India at the Center for UN Peacekeeping in New Delhi from 20th to 31st March 2017. A total of 25 participants from 18 countries will attend the course, along with 21 UN officials, senior mentors, facilitators, and presenters for the conduct of the course. Various senior officers from the Ministry of External Affairs and the Ministry of Defense, Armed Forces of India, will address the event and the course. The course represents India's strong commitment to UN peacekeeping, both through enhanced contributions and peacekeeping capacity building efforts in recent times. More than 200,000 or 2 lakh Indian troops, military observers, and civilian police officers have participated in 48 out of the 69 UN peacekeeping operations and observer missions established since 1948. The annual SML course, that is the Senior Mission Leaders course, is conducted with the objective to strengthen the senior leadership's capacity through training on effective planning and conducting of integrated UN peace support operations. It provides a forum for the participants to interact on diverse issues related to peace and security and challenges faced by them in UN missions. Participants in this course will be high-ranking military, police, and civilian officials who are expected to assume senior leadership positions in future UN peacekeeping operations. With that, I conclude the announcements for today. Now the floor is open for questions. As I requested, kindly limit your questions to one per individual, and also kindly don't make parts of your question. I will welcome questions in their entirety with one question, one part. Yes, Vinita.
Gopal, Pakistan has expressed concern over acquittal of Seema in the Samjhauta blast case. Mm-hmm. How is India viewing these concerns from the Pakistani side?
I think you are referring to a press report which carried certain items on this in the past few days. India completely rejects Pakistan's efforts and intention to meddle in our internal affairs, including in the judicial process within our country. We also totally reject the completely untenable link which is sought to be established by Pakistan with any other matter currently under purview of the Indian courts. A strong Indian democracy and justice system obviously need no self-serving sermons from anybody, and much less from a country like Pakistan. Pakistan would be well advised to refrain from interfering in internal affairs of India in any form, and not to resort to denial from the reality of terrorism emanating from its soil, which is affecting not only India but the entire neighborhood and beyond. It would do well also to take action to dismantle the infrastructure of terrorism in its own territory or the territory under its control, and bring to justice the masterminds who still continue to operate and enjoy the freedom in its own territory to commit, promote, and support terrorism against Pakistan's neighbors. Geeta.
Advisor Sartaj Aziz has proposed a move to make Gilgit-Baltistan a province in Pakistan. What is India's reaction? Is there a protest that India will lodge? And what could the ramifications be of this move?
Geeta, I think you are referring to certain news reports which base themselves on a supposed report by a committee which is reported to have been established under the chairmanship of Mr. Sartaj Aziz. As you perhaps are aware, the report of the committee is shrouded in some sort of secrecy. It has not been made public. So it's not my intention or practice to comment on media reports. However, it is a matter which pertains to sovereignty of India, and therefore I would say that the position of the government is very well known. The entire state of Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part, has been an integral part, and will be an integral part of India. And no unilateral attempt or a step to change that or attempt to change that would have any legal basis whatsoever, and of course it will be entirely unacceptable. I would also say that any such a step will not be able to hide the illegality of the attempt and the illegality of Pakistan's occupation of parts of Jammu and Kashmir, which it must vacate forthwith. It will also not be able to hide the tremendous and very concerning human rights violations and the denial of freedom that have been going on in those parts under Pakistan's control for the last 70 years. Seema. For some reason, my right side is always more active. So these are the right honorable members. Seva.
Gopal, I wanted to ask you about Nepal. You know the Madhesis have pulled out, and the Prime Minister has said that the delineation of the districts would not happen now, it would happen only after the elections. How do you see the situation in Nepal?
Seema, you have asked a very important question. As you know, the peace and development and stability in Nepal, which is one of our closest neighbors, has always been of great interest to us. And I would say that I would not like to go into the details because it's an evolving situation. As you know, currently the political process is on in Nepal. So let us not go into specifics because situation changes rapidly and can change rapidly. I would only say that it has always been our position that and consistent position that the political leaders in Nepal could address the constitutional issues through discussions and consultations with participation of every section of the society. And India, of course, will continue to support all such efforts for peace, progress, and stability in Nepal. I think I also touched upon this aspect in our last briefing.
So the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir yesterday publicly spoke about scrapping of the Indus Water Treaty and also said that India should join the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Now, what is the MEA's view on both statements?
Shinjoy, you can put me on a spot, but I won't comment on the on the statement made by a political dignitary, a chief minister of our country. But as far as the government's position is concerned, I think our position on CPEC is extremely clear. We have an issue which has been mentioned to our interlocutors as well as in public. Parts of CPEC pass or propose to pass through sovereign Indian territory, and that concern has been conveyed in very clear terms to all concerned. As far as the Indus Waters Treaty is concerned, I think in our last briefing also, I dwelt on the matter in some detail, and I don't think our position on the treaty has changed. Ranjit, and then we come to this side.
Last week, Foreign Secretary was in Japan for 2+2 dialogue, and during that visit, he discussed with his counterparts issues relating to quadrilateral cooperation, progress in quadrilateral cooperation. So can you throw more light on this quadrilateral cooperation between India, US, Australia, and Japan?
I'm afraid, Ranjit, I don't have a readout on that, but I can come back to you separately after the press conference.
सर मेरा सवाल ये पासपोर्ट को लेकर है। मेरा नाम आकाश श्रीवास्तव है, मैं thirdeyewordnews.com से हूँ। सर आपने अभी पासपोर्ट के बारे में बताया कि मेरा सवाल है सर पूरे देश भर के जो मुख्य डाकघर हैं उसमें पासपोर्ट सेवा पूरी तरह से कब तक लागू हो जाएगी? थैंक यू सर।
देखिए, ऐसा है कि अभी जो हमने शुरू किया है वो पिछले साल जो हम लोगों ने निर्णय लिए और पिछले कुछ महीनों में हमने जो निर्णय लिए उसमें पहले जैसा मैंने अभी आपको बताया दो पोस्ट ऑफिस के माध्यम से इस सेवा की शुरुआत करी गई, वो देखने के लिए कि कैसे होता है, एक मैसूर में और एक धाडोर में गुजरात में। उसके बाद क्योंकि वो उसके परिणाम अच्छे लगे और वो बहुत लोगों तक पहुंच रहा है, वो सेवा और ज़्यादा लोगों तक पहुंच रही है, तो हमने फिर ये फैसला किया डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ पोस्ट के साथ मिलके कि इसको बढ़ाया जाए और हमने साथ में 10 और केंद्रों को इस तरीके के पोस्ट ऑफिस के माध्यम से हमने खोला और ये फंक्शनल हैं, ये शुरू किए जा चुके हैं। भारत एक बहुत बड़ा देश है और सारे देश को एक साथ कवर करना संभव नहीं है, लेकिन आप इस बात से अंदाज़ा लगा सकते हैं कि 2 से ये संख्या 12 हुई और 12 से अब ये संख्या 85 हो गई है। तो इनका परिणाम जैसे हमारे पास आएगा, हम इस प्रक्रिया का विश्लेषण करेंगे, हम इसका आकलन करेंगे और इसको आगे और बढ़ाना संभव हो सकेगा, ऐसा हम उम्मीद करते हैं। लेकिन पहले हमारी प्राथमिकता ये है कि जिनके बारे में निर्णय लिया जा चुका है उनका अच्छी तरीके से क्रियान्वयन किया जा सके।
Hi, Mr. Bagle. The dates of the forthcoming visit by Sheikh Hasina to India has been announced earlier this week. Now, media in Bangladesh has already reported there could be a defense agreement signed during this visit, and lots of speculations going on related to it. So, can you comment on the prospect of signing such a deal during this visit?
So, are you asking me to comment on a speculation?
On the reports, okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your question. It is going to be a really landmark visit. And both sides are very intensely and actively working to really make it a a visit full of very significant outcome. At this stage, please permit me not to go into the details. What I can assure you is that closer to the visit, we will do a separate briefing on the visit.
So, any proposal mooted by India on water sharing ahead of the visit by the Bangladesh Prime Minister? Have you submitted any specific proposals to Bangladesh in this regard?
We'll cover this aspect in our briefing. When we do the briefing closer to the visit, we'll cover all the aspects that are priority areas in the bilateral relations.
Sir, there were some reports some time ago that Russia had decided not to have any military deal with Pakistan. Have they also conveyed this formally to you, this same assurance? There were some reports that Russia has decided not to have military drills with Pakistan anymore. Have they also conveyed this formally to you?
You mean the military exercises? Well, you are aware the position that the government had taken last year on a specific military exercise, and our points that were very clearly conveyed to our Russian friends and partners. The relationship with Russia that India has is of a privileged strategic partner, and this relationship has very solid foundations. And our dialogue that we have had with Russia in the not only in the last few weeks or months, but for a number of years, is basically based on mutually shared interests, including strategic interests in our region. So I'm sure the future direction of the evolution of this relationship and its development and consolidation will take all those factors into account.
The Chinese defense minister is visiting Nepal next week, and the two countries will be having a joint military exercise for the first time. Any comments from the Indian side on this?
I would beg not to make comments on relationships between two other countries in this forum.
There were also reports that Russia was interested in participating in China-Pakistan economic corridor. Has India ever taken up this issue with?
As far as I am aware, certain statements have been put out by the Russian dignitaries themselves in this regard, and I would refer you to them. Elizabeth?
When the Afghan deputy foreign minister was here, was there any talk of any new proposal or initiative for India to, augment its, people-to-people contacts or programs there? There was a proposal, for example, for an air corridor, an economic initiative. Any such thing, any discussions on any new proposals?
Thank you for your question. If you recall, when I mentioned about Mr. Karzai's visit in my opening announcement, I did mention that his discussions with his Indian interlocutors involved conversations on the decisions taken during President Ghani's visits to India last year. Closer economic cooperation and development cooperation with Afghanistan has always been India's priority in our relations with Afghanistan. As you would recall, certain discussions were had when President Ghani was here. Air corridor for trade between Afghanistan and India was one of them. These and other matters of development cooperation and closer economic cooperation are on high priority of us as well as Afghanistan, and both sides are engaged in further delineating the details in the process. So in other words, discussions in this regard are going on and they are making progress. Yeah. And not merely one, but many areas which were discussed during President Ghani's visit last year.
So, Diomi Alexander from Manorama News. Do we have any new information about Father Tom Urindani who was abducted in Yemen?
No, unfortunately, since last week, I have no further updates, but as and when we have, we will share with you the updates. And also, I would like to mention that, which is also what I mentioned last time, that we continue to make very sincere efforts to locate him. You risk the question being disallowed because it's a second question. Okay, I think they are early next week. I think 19th, 20th, 21st. But some of these dates may be the travel dates, so I don't know the exact program, but that's the bracket. So with that, okay, yeah, Pranay.
Shailendra.
Yeah, Shailendra.
Sir, last year भारत ने सार्क जो समिट था उसको बाइकआउट किया था. जो तमाम देश थे वो भी साथ में नहीं गए थे जो मेंबर्स थे. लेकिन इसके बाद इसी साल इलेक्शंस के रिजल्ट्स के बाद 3 MPs पाकिस्तान गए थे. पार्लियामेंटेरियंस 3 शशि थरूर और 2 लोग और साथ में गए थे MPs. तो क्या इसमें कोई प्लान में चेंज हुआ है कि हम बातचीत को दोबारा शुरू करने की तरफ ही क्या इशारा है? क्यों इस तरह का परमिशन दिया गया? क्या सरकार की मंजूरी इसमें थी?
शैलेंद्र, आपके सवाल के लिए बहुत धन्यवाद. देखिए, जो ये 3 हमारे माननीय संसद सदस्य वहाँ पे गए हैं, उनकी जो यात्रा है उसको आपको इस संदर्भ में देखना चाहिए कि वो वहाँ पे गए हैं. एशियन पार्लियामेंट्री असेंबली होती है, उसकी स्टैंडिंग कमेटी की मीटिंग जो कि अभी चल रही है इस्लामाबाद में. इस्लामाबाद के पास मरी एक जगह है, वहाँ पे मरी में, तो उसके संदर्भ में उनकी यात्रा हुई है. एशियन पार्लियामेंट्री असेंबली की ये स्टैंडिंग कमेटी की मीटिंग के मेज़बान पाकिस्तान है, वहाँ पे ये मीटिंग हो रही है. उनके निमंत्रण आया था, और क्योंकि भारत एक बहुत सशक्त, दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र है, एशियन पार्लियामेंट्री असेंबली का एक बहुत एक्टिव, बहुत सक्रिय सदस्य है, इसलिए ये लाजिम होता है, ये बनता है कि हम इसकी स्टैंडिंग कमेटी की मीटिंग जो कि प्रिपेयर करेगी असेंबली की मीटिंग की, उसकी तैयारी के लिए ये मीटिंग हो रही है, उसमें हम पार्टिसिपेट करें, उसमें भागीदार हों. इसको मेरे ख्याल से किसी और संदर्भ में देखना या किसी और संदर्भ से जोड़ना उचित नहीं होगा. So that should be the last question for the day here.
So last year we boycotted the Islamabad SAARC summit, and subsequently now we have the Secretary General of SAARC from Pakistan. We have a delegation of MPs who have traveled to Pakistan. And there comes the response that Gilgit-Baltistan is to be turned into a province. The moment when there are indications that India is perhaps inching towards a renewed round of talks with Pakistan, there comes this sort of a response. Do you think this particular step of turning Gilgit-Baltistan into a province is a setback for us?
I have answered in the earlier part of the press conference the Gilgit-Baltistan related thing, and I think the government position on that is very clear, so I will not repeat that. If I get your question correctly, you are linking 2 or 3 things, which is the visit of the Asian Parliamentary Assembly members, as well as this development reportedly which has come out just while the members are there. Well, as I said, the visit of the Asian Parliamentary Assembly Standing Committee that is taking place, the members of Parliament are visiting Pakistan for attending that Standing Committee meeting, because India is a large democracy, world's largest democracy, and a very active member of the Asian Parliamentary Assembly. So I really don't see the link which your question seeks to project. So with that, we would come to an end of today's interaction. Good to see all of you, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.